Hello. Hello. Give me a second and oh goodness. That does not help. Stop doing that for me. Okay, hopefully we're not dropping frames anymore. Come on. There we go. Hi. Hello. How's it going, peeps? Back once again. This time I've stopped the OneDrive syncing early, so we're a bit better off now. I haven't put music on just yet. Give me a second. I'm currently just getting set up properly for today. So in fact I will do that right now. Set up some music for you guys because it's a bit quiet just having my voice in it. Dog's also barking. So there's that. That's always nice, hearing the dogs barking. Yeah, anyway, that's there. Leave that in the background. So people, how's it going? I'm currently just got home from work, set up to stream, and you know, honestly really looking for a fun time tonight, as I've just been kind of unlucky yesterday. Bit of a weird one, to be honest, the stream of how everything went. So yeah, let's get into game 1. G2 versus T1. And I'm personally hoping that we get an absolute banger. I've already know the result of the series is 3-0 to T1. But like, it seems to me that there were close elements of this series for G2. However, we didn't break down the last time these two faced off earlier in the tournament. So maybe this game is actually better than what it was in the previous one. So naturally, I'm going to actually just boot up my stream on my phone, just so I can see how that's going. And I can't actually hear myself. Okay, I can hear myself. Nice. So, just move this over here. Let's go. G2, T1. Oh. First time for us during World MSI this year. My voice a bit raspy, but it's expected. We've been doing a whole load of these streams throughout the week and coming into the finals weekend as well. We've got a big series tomorrow, but before we can talk about that, we've got this one to go through. T1 are on blue, G2 on red. Rek'Sai, Zac, Broken Blade's pool being picked apart here. Ashe, Senna removed by them. T1 have flexed the Kalista, so I expect that one to be banned more than anything by G2. Triss removed from Caps' pool. So first pick, Ori, kind of has been what T1 have gone to when it's been left up. So G2 either ban the Ori here or ban out the Kalista. It's going to be the Lucian ban. Okay, so that leads Kalista first pick more than anything. And G2's response is Varus, because that's banned. Yeah, it's kind of Varus and then not. But Varus Ori also could be a combo. But it's going to be actually Prio on Faker's Ori. And G2 actually can go for the Kalista themselves. So change it up. Callista, Renata. Not also an option. Draven's an option. Nautilus still can come through here. That does leave Callista, Varus. I think that would be a powerful bot lane for T1. Unless Mickey plays the Varus. Not Varus, the Callista. That's an option. But that's a very weird option. Poppy coming in there actually is smart. I like it a lot because we saw the other day when T1 faced off against Thingy that Owner on Poppy just demolished the opposition when they played this Callista. It was TL. So the fact G2 preemptively lock in this Poppy, it's a nice counter pick that they guarantee for themselves into a Callista Renata lane. Mickey doesn't have to show his support here just yet. They can keep him guessing whether or not G2 want a utility support or an engage support, because Poppy still can be flexed. It can be support, it can be jungle, it can even be top if needs be, and oh no. Don't die on me, please. Please. Don't do this to me. Okay, we're back. So, quality's dipped, but we're still back. LeBlanc comes through for caps, so that is a nice pickup for him. You get the guaranteed sort of poke harass. Casante's removed Corki. Not an option, never mind, because Ori's locked. Casante Rumble. If you want to make the top lane unbearable in terms of options, Rumble. Sedge maybe. There's a ban for T1. What else is there as an option for bans? I mean, TF. Zin. Okay. There's a few options left up and available, and I'm actually looking at it. G2 can go TF here on 4. The response from T1 can essentially be Jarvan, Rumble. I could see that being the angle that T1 go for. I could see Sedge, Rumble. Sedge could come in on 4 because it's still open. It's whether or not they want to keep the Poppy in jungle or flex it to support. And I could also see this being not. But it's going to be a Kha'Zix for Yike. He gets to play all the carries here at MSI. It's certainly one of the more assassin heavy picks. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get onto anyone. I would have preferred the Vi, honestly, for G2. The lockup of the Callista would be nice, but that's a strong front line for T1 if that Camille gets locked in. Yes, indeed. So how does Broken Blade want to play it? I'm looking at it. He can go Yone. That's something he would play. Vayne. Jax is there. But, oh, he goes for it. I tend to forget that Jax is actually a big counter. We used to see it quite a lot into Camille. Like, over the years. It was certainly an option that provides a lot of strength. Because you can counter-strike. Sorry, I'm also opening something. But you counter-strike the Q from the Camille, and you can then just continue to harass her with your own autos, and you basically Grandmasters might just out damage trade her. It's a pretty nice combo. It's very easy sometimes to get a strong utility of spells out from Jax into the Camille matchup, but only time will tell. Lane swap, possibly, more than likely out of T1. But G2 could do it themselves, even though I wouldn't really think it would be that beneficial. I'm now going to open up some food because I'm hungry, so give me a second as we load into game. To be honest, I could sit here and eat food all evening as we load into game. I timed that well. One slice and we're done. Looking at stats, looking at pathing. Callista's sat bot, so possibly the lane swap will come through later. Who knows? Or we don't see one. Now G2 aren't showing on the map just yet. Oh. So I'm slightly concerned. So my stream is playing. I am still live. I hope. Just the broadcast is... Okay, there we go. That was weird. It's so awkward because YouTube's just not playing ball with me, to be honest. Anyway. The start looks pretty standard. And when I say standard, I mean... Oh my days, the wire wasn't fully in. I'm a dumbass. Anyway. Sedge is going to look for an invade. And the lane swap going to come through. The ward there from Yike going to be helpful. Obviously spotted by T1. Faker's got sweeper. So that's useful for him. Broken Blade's going to roll down to the bot side. Join up with Yike. Who's... That's actually Mickey in mid. So G2 are either swapping or trying to split the map outright. Because the reason Mickey's there is to kind of stop Faker from going down here and causing an issue for Yike. Who is right now pathing down to this bot side. Going like so. So as a whole, that's pretty smart from G2. But as a whole, I'm going to be honest. The way T1 are playing this is certainly beneficial as Caps. He distorts forward. Put him in range of the Camille, but top laners are hovering in the mid lane anyway. Bot side, G2 got push. They're hitting the tower first. The big thing about Draven getting 3 stacks is not good for T1. Because realistically they want to be denying him the stacking of the axes. However, he's been able to get them down and not really feel any pressure. As for T1, they're the ones under pressure more than anything. Because that bot lane gonna have to rotate back down to bot side. Broken Blade has the option to TP up, which he will do, as Camille pathed or up there. So as a whole, G2 lose out on a TP, but come out slightly ahead on plating, which is probably the better thing for them. I am really annoyed right now by this, so give me a second. I wish it didn't sync my desktop. Anyway, no tower dive going to come through bot. G2 just going to reset. As a wave in mid starting to stack up. T1R starting to apply pressure. But not too much in terms of resetting the state of the game. If you couldn't tell, I'm trying to sort a load of issues right now. Never fun during a stream. Alright, let me go back here. Apologies that this is happening. Right now, I'm emptying out like shed loads of files that are causing my PC issues. There. Anyway, and we're back. So, top side, Broken Blade's getting pushing. The health bars are being traded quite well. Level 4 across both members of the team, so nothing out the ordinary there. Trades are even, as Drake started up here by T1. Faker could go, he doesn't have level 6 just yet. If he had it, he probably would have popped it to try and execute caps. Draven not going to be in time to contest the Drake, nor was Yike, and so G2 give up that pressure. Just looking at it, the adoration stacks are being built up here by Hans, so G2 probably will try to get a cash out for him. Lovely pathing there from Yike to avoid that award. I don't know if Faker knew that Yike went through mid, but to be honest, he's done a good job there to get around it and get onto Grubs unseen, as Caps is taken quite low. He is being bullied. One or two more of them command dissonance would kill him. Not gonna fall prey to it just yet, as we kind of have to look at this Kha'Zix right now as a pick. Needs to find some success if he wants to get going. He does pick up the 3 Void Grubs for himself, which is good for G2. The concern is obviously the fact that he is in a situation where, oh, never mind, Mickey gonna catch out to Renata. Tradeback's quite nice, but it's not in time. So G2, more specifically the Poppy, gets to run away pretty safely. I'm just keeping my eyes on how these two teams are playing the map. Topside's kind of been, or this topside jungle's kind of been owners. Obviously he started in Yike's topside of the map, so we've kind of been playing a split map between the two junglers, and I think that's been a big factor. But now in this stage of the game, because of this little guy being so vision controlling for T1, Yike's actual clear becomes a lot harder, considering the fact that Owner can just go from his own raptors and Yike's own raptors pretty easily. And that's an issue with Kha'Zix. Apart from his void spikes, his entire kit is mostly single target burst. So he isn't able to clear out AoE camps as well as the Sedge can, who has her W, her Q, all of which are AoE. And that's pretty big for him, as Cap's trading back into Faker, losing out on the trade because the chains go wide. Mickey's going to show up and steal away some of the plate gold, which isn't good. As Draven is starting to stack up them stacks. I'm pretty sure that says 100 and now it says 200. Bot side, that's going to be a Hexac Ultimatum channeled onto Broken Blade, who gets stunned up. The Sedge comes through and they lock him down. It's first blood over to T1 as Zeus and Oda tag team on Broken Blade. On the other side of the map, we are going to see Yike try and steal away a camp, but Faker's here. Smite comes through, so Kha'Zix gets a camp. The flash through over the wall gets him to safety. With a minute till Grubs, he's probably not going to be staying around just to try and contest or make a fight in this play. So taking a reset, taking a smart one, alongside all of G2 mainly, so that they can go for the play. Anyway, this is no one cooldowns. A fail on the hook shot is a little unfortunate from T1, but because the counter strike's down, they know there's no real outplay for Broken Blade, and so they get the kill pretty easily. First blood's pretty nice, and the only issue is now on the reset, Broken Blade gets push out on the bot side, gets to hit tower once, so the Void Grubs get to proc. Speaking of Void Grubs, 20 seconds until they're up and available, with Carrier and Guma being on the bottom side of the map for forcing Broken Blade back. I don't think the contest from T1 will be on that camp, and more than likely G2 will go for it, as Mickey's going to engage. The attacks coming through as Zeus is being targeted. A massive steadfast presence gives over the kill to this Kha'Zix. It's a little unfortunate because you really would love it to have been Hans Hammer to pick that one up, but it is not, and instead it's still a kill to a champion that benefits from kills. Bear in mind, Kha'Zix is passive. The more kills you get, the more damage you do, I'm pretty sure is the kit. Similar sort of story to oh, that's pretty good from Hans there to clear that wave. He gets himself first tower as the Void Grubs are being taken. This is pretty well executed from G2. The only issue is Broken Blade's not really been able to play this game, as Mickey joins up with his top laner. The knockout from this Poppy sends two members of T1 away, so Broken Blade can survive a dive. Now though, the dive's a little easier, with no Poppy ult available. No... What was the cost of it from T1 side? Sedge ult? That's it. Midway, I swear every time we pan mid, it's just Caps distorting forward into Faker. And like, this is the first time we've panned there, where Caps is actually winning out on the trade. Anyway, bot side, we've got a Draven who's got a lot of turret plates in his back pocket. As Yike's hunting, he can not get the steal as the smite comes through. We do have 6 Void Grubs on G2 side versus 2 Dragons. And, well, this Draven's pretty fed. A lot of gold. A 1.2k gold lead, pretty much off turret plates. That's a nice it's a nice state of game for Hans. As have I stopped streaming? It's hard to tell. My stream down. I'm losing signal. Why? Why is my signal dropped? Why is anything failing right now? Like, holy moly. I can't do anything right now. It's unfortunate. Like, last week it was fine. Now it's just gone to absolutely doo-doo. But my router is saying I'm live. Or it's on. This is saying I'm sending frames. But my actual thingy's not working. So apparently it's not receiving enough to maintain. And I'm certainly seeing that on my end. I need to up my bitrate, it feels like. This better for you guys? Hopefully this is a lot more. And it helps. Because on my end it's been weird, to be honest. My connection's dropping. Why? My PC's also struggling, which is never good. Why is there so much Opera open? I should only have the one browser open, and yet it's like 20 gazillion times. Like, oh my days. I'm actually gonna end task. Jeez. My connection just hit dead. Dead. Zero. I'm so confused what is happening right now. Was there an update? To Opera GX? If there is, then that's the reason why. Sorely disappointed in everything. It's not, because my internet is still an issue. Me oh my, why can I not do anything fun? You know? It's so weird. Like, I'm legit watching on my phone my stream. And that could be an issue. Let me switch off of my phone. Yeah, I'm dropping a lot of frames. Don't know why. Don't know what is going on. Like, I'm actually gonna have to look this up, so give me a bit. hopefully this is better. I'm looking at it, it's kind of maintaining connection. If it drops out, then yikes. I did just open the OBS thing just to read. Hopefully this is good enough for you guys. I'm just waiting for it to appear on my phone, to be honest. Let's get into where we were. G2 playing quite even. Caps going for the XE. Unable to get it as he does get the shockwave out. Unfortunately for T1, Sedge not in a position to make a counterplay. Hands still getting gold, kind of as expected. Distortion, not going to be useful enough to get out from Zeus. That's a good play from T1. As Camille just outplays LeBlanc pretty hard. You Hextech ultimatum her, she can't distort out. It's pretty good. Overall, a very well worked kill there for T1. And it does bail out Faker. As mid, looks like they're looking to hunt down a target. As the Callista almost going to fall prey to the Whirling Death. And G2 are kind of just playing the map. They sent Hans top side, and T1 couldn't match. Sent him bot side, T1 couldn't match. Sending him mid, can T1 match? Basically though, I think the way this game's going, if G2 can stop the engage from T1, if they can kill the Camille, kill the Sedge, or not allow them to get onto this Draven, G2 can win the fight. Because Hans has a lot of gold. And the kill potential is there. As G2 stepping up, trying to go for this Herald, and they will steal it away as the Sedge force to run away. Looking at Hans Sammer, he does get a cash out, and now G2 possibly looking for a play as Yike is already incredibly low, gonna be ticked down to carry his Ignite, as on the top side, Camille's just running away at this Draven and gets the shutdown. Zeus on the board, but Caps is hunted. He sees the kills. This Renata doesn't have damage, but is still susceptible to the LeBlanc chipping away. Good flash out from Carrier, but Caps just executes you off. That's a good overall kill for G2. However, Caps is isolated himself. The Hextech ultimatum comes through and Zeus gets a kill back. And it's a shutdown for some reason. Because Caps somehow is on 2 kills. Doesn't make sense why it's a shutdown. So, let's explain this play. It's what we like to call an overchase. Now, Mickey just gets caught. He goes on to Gumayushi trying to kill him off, as Caps does manage to do so. Faker kills off Broken Blade. Don't even see how that happens, but essentially G2 overchase for a Herald that they don't really need. Hans Sammer just is trying to stack up the axes to keep alive, but the big thing about that play was he still got his cash out, and he's on 2 items, IE and Essence Reaver, versus 1 and a bit on this Callista. So G2 still have a strong gold lead for themselves, purely because of Hans Sammer. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they can fight, as T1 just have the better setup on the map right now, as G2 kind of want to try and go for these tower sieging plays, because all this game so far has been about is the tower siege. Caps has kind of played for taking side lane objectives. Hans has just been turret killing machine. The only tower he didn't get full plating out of was the mid lane tower. And he's the one who's the benefactor of taking Herald. Now G2 with 6 Void Grubs get to kill that one off. Then unfortunately not gonna make a follow-up play with the Herald where they drive it into another lane. Instead they let it die, which maybe is for the better. But as a whole, the state of play, realistically speaking, is pretty good for G2. His Caps almost jumped into Shockwave. Faker was baiting for it. So, honestly, this game, looking at how it's been playing out, it's a battle of the Draven and the Camille. The Draven has been sieging pretty hard. The Camille's been killing very well. But the big issue for G2 right now is, how do you peel a Hextech ultimatuming Camille? How do you get her away? And the reason I say that is, if Mickey is dead, then Camille has free reign. Same with the Sedge. So, as a whole, this G2 comp really is heavily reliant on Mickey. And what I'd also say is, Yikes also pretty heavily relied on in executing targets. And the fact he's just been caught with 30 seconds until Baron, G2 getting a shutdown, they actually kill off the Camille, but the collapse from T1's just quicker. Caps has been run down, smited by the Sedge. The auto stacks are going to land. There's the kill over to Gumayushi. And G2 fumbled the bag. That seemed like a really greedy play from Yike that he didn't necessarily need to make. And we watch it again. He dives on the wall just as trying to smite steal. On vision. So T1 were already collapsing at this stage. TP's coming through, Hans is isolating himself, and immediately Zeus flashes on top of him. It's good peel out from Mickey to keep him off, but Gumayushi's free firing then. And a Kalista free firing versus a Camille who's basically buying time for the Kalista at this stage. It's really hard for G2 to play. And that's the issue of going assassin jungle, is that you can't frontline and protect your carry who's been playing this siege heavy style the entire game and has got very, very fed. And so that gold diff that we saw for a while just pivots back in favor of T1 because G2's team fighting is minimal. It's poor, especially with this comp. So, we're actually almost at Soul, by the way. Didn't even realise that T1 had snuck up 3 Drakes. It is going to be Chemtech Soul, like normal. Seems to be a running trend recently. T1 are stepping up. 3 members here. Caps and Faker and Topside both have TPs, so they could come join up. G2 bring 4. But on the flank sits the Camille. G2 could be caught out as they actually are the ones to secure the Drake, and now they're looking to kill off this bot lane. The hostile takeover lands onto 2, but on the backside, G2 leave the Draven isolated, and Zeus punishes a double kill over to this pick, and it's going to be a triple maybe. Gumayushi steals that one away, but G2, they misplay it. They fumble the bag. They lose their top, then their bot lane, and this Baron looking like a big target for them. Caps hunting almost kills the Renata. Shockwave used by Faker, gonna go wide. Yike trying to get into the pit, but he just can't do it as Faker's just playing Ring a Rosie right now. Caps gonna be able to get away, but there's no vision for G2 in the pit. That's gonna be Zeus TPing up to join his team as Baron's being slowed down. They know that this Kha'Zix can get in, so they're going to try and go for it. Into the back of the pit goes this Kha'Zix, but he's dead before it drops. Baron is secured by T1. And G2 yet again. They fumble another fight. And this time, pretty inexcusable because of how they position. Keep your eyes on Hans Sammer. He tries to stay back, but this flank, look how far back he is from the rest of his team. He walks back into the Camille, who's just immediately hexacle and made him onto him. 1 Q. Then the second part of the Q comes through. The execute, and he's dead. Hans had no chance there of fighting. Had no peel. And T1 ran away with it. And are certainly running away with this game. Even though this Draven is very strong, T1 are just playing around it better.
Finals MVP of the world champion team. 3 items on Camille Sand. Nice matchup. Oh, so 3 items ahead. 3 levels ahead. Like
now they have the Baron. So push is pretty easy. Cleanse was burnt out of Hans Sammer by the Sedge. And again, my concern is G2's draft. To be honest, is yeah, this is a pretty fed Camille. Can you tell? Zeus is strong. 5, 2, and 7. Broken Blade can't split push. This pick, the Kha'Zix, isn't really working out. I'd much rather have preferred a tank in the jungle for G2. But you think about the bans that were thrown their way by T1. Zac, Rek'Sai, that top jungle flex that G2 tend to do just is gone. It's why I thought Poppy jungle would have been better for Yike. And then an Enchanter, maybe even for Mickey, or to be honest, he could have even gone for a Naught himself. Something that can engage and frontline, but instead, G2 pick Kha'Zix jungle, which is Yike's MO, but Mickey's dead. This is the game. Down falls a Poppy. 2 inhibitors down. The Nexus tower's in the sights of T1. Jack stepping forward as Cabs is trying to poke away at this Camille, but he isn't able to do so as onto the backline goes the Camille. The shockwave hits 3. It's everyone falling on G2's side of the rift as Guma and Faker pick up all of them. It's just a clean fight from T1 here. Mickey respawns. He uses his ult, but it isn't enough. The hammer doesn't bring G2 success in game 1, and T1 take it. That was arguably, I think that's a draft diff more than anything. But T1 punished G2 pretty not well. And so let's get into game 2. We are covering all 3 games. I know it's weird doing all 3. But into draft we go already. Seeing some interesting things. There's Senna, Ashk, Renata removed by G2. The response is the same as game 1, except this time T1 are on blue. Pretty nice. Draven comes through for this G2 comp. That should be Callista. Ori. Oh, the Poppy. Just take it away. I like that from T1. Maybe G2 realized Poppy needs to be played by jungle. And T1 are like, yeah, we're not giving you that chance. So I think Ori will be prioritized here by T1 over the Callista now. But actually, Varus Callista still a thing. Callista, it can be played. I thought Ori may come through there, because that then just secures Faker's Orianna. But no, it stays out the pick ban. G2 can showcase something different. I would like Nautilus. But so if you couldn't tell, I'm a big advocate of tank jungle when you have a Draven on your team. Same with like a Samira. If you pick these strong ADCs that are very powerful, that rely on having protection, you don't go carry jungle. It just doesn't make sense. And right now, I'm just going to go to Hansama. Because he's a player that, as a whole, if you look at the pick bans against G2, 90% of the time, he gets his Draven banned. If we look at the win rate for why is it not showing? I want to look at just Hansama's stats on the pick. Can we do that? Hansama, all time. I want to look at his Draven. Where is Mr. Hansama's Draven? Here we go. The reason I want to look at it is what typically gets played alongside it. And it doesn't tell me. Here. So, he played it twice here. What did they play in this one? Ivan. So an enchanter, it works. Enchanters work better. I accept that one. I'm looking for G2 prior to this. Here. Oh. But then again, you've got Rek'Sai. It's awkward, this draft. I don't like the fact that he's gone Draven, frontline. Why can't Yike play Zin? Like, something that can sit in front of him would be so much more useful than a Viego. That's mean just nitpicking on draft picks. Like, it's still a good pick for Yike. He's won games on it, but to be honest, I'd much rather see a Sedge. And that's the awkwardness of it. Sedge would work so much better. But not Viego. It's got setup. Now, the other reason I'd say Sedge over Viego is Poppy. You can't W. Honestly, the Naught kind of sucks into Poppy. Everything kind of just sucks into her. And you kind of just need to absolutely burst her before she can even do anything. So maybe that's why you go Viego, because you have the mass amount of damage. But even then, all it takes is one play. You also need to ban Camille. Please ban Camille here, G2. It just makes so much sense to ban her in this state of game, because if not, she's coming through here. If you can't tell, I am saluting because either T1 go pretty much full frontline. So yeah, I understand why you go Cassante there as well. Is this where Broken Blade drops the Camille game? I realistically don't like these bans at all from these two teams. I mean, I understand why they've gone for it, but top pool's kind of cut. It's been gutted. Caps gets Aurelion. Which is pretty cool for himself. The rest of the draft, Urgot. I mean, that works. Close range on 3 picks. So you are going to be kind of stood in front of him. Azir needs to go forward and get into you to do anything. So yeah, Urgot will have a lot of power prowess here. But G2 have not really... The draft is very much we want to go forward and get at you. Whereas T1 have a lot of bulk across 3 members. So they can survive the initial engage from G2 quite easily. And that's my concern in this draft. The initial engage is pretty strong. And T1 can kind of turn around plays with the Azir. You can re-engage with the Alistar, because while Alistar is a go-in one-way champion, he is pretty good at the re-engage if he is not the one to cause the initial play. But again, only time will tell, as we'll get into the game number 2 of this best of 5. G2 on the blue side, T1 on red. Who will take it? Let's get into game. I'm trying to think, is this a lane swap game? To be honest, probably not. I think lanes are pretty standard, so they'll stay standard on the map. I am thinking though, I'm also intrigued that there's no sweeper just yet. Runes, a Hail of Blades for Faker is interesting. Don't normally see that on an Azir. More of like the Comets sort of build you go for. The Poke, Lethal Tempo is the other one, or Fleet Footwork are the options that you typically see on an Azir. G2's deep vision going to be spotted, and they've gone for the kind of standard. We're going to spot you on both sides of the rift, so no matter where you go, your start is known. Now, they're also looking for a play onto Faker. They get his flash, which is probably the most ideal thing they could do. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to kind of capitalize on that play. But again, probably won't. As Broken Blade just playing Ring a Ring Rosie with this Cassante, Ghost is forced. Broken Blade will kill him. There's no flash. So Cassante having to take the long way to make the play. Good use of the E by Urgot, and it's back to body blocking his side of the map. It's kind of surprising he uses his flash, but Broken Blade, he gets the early advantage in the matchup. He hits level 2 first. EQ start, so yeah, he's always going to win the trade when Cassante can't even get on the wave. That's a good headbutt away by Carrier, as Mickey gets to now play a bit more aggressive, joining up with Yike, who's stealing away the camps from this Poppy. G2 actually playing a fairly strong early game, however, Mickey's flash gonna go wide with the hook, but Yike, your path straight into Owner. That was a greedy path. Like, can we be honest? Caps is also in a really bad position, because Owner has flash, could go for a play. Yeah, honestly, Caps actually outplays that, even though he shouldn't have. That was a misplay by T1. It was a misplay by Yike in terms of his pathing, but it's an even bigger misplay from Faker and Owner on that dive onto Caps, because Caps flashed like late. So where are we watching? Okay, where does Caps flash? There. So in theory, Owner could have gone flash into his charge. I forget if it's like Royal Stampede or something like that. G2 reacting very much like G2 to the play. I feel like they're the only team that get camera put on them. Can we be honest? It's always been that way though with G2. Like, they're the only staff, like PSG or Gamma, the other team, that get it put on them during matches. And I don't get why no one else does. Seems a little weird. Anyway, top side, we haven't really touched on it, but somehow the Cassante's taken a CS lead that's pretty big, considering how the matchup went early. But obviously no flash on Broken Blade because he burnt it, trying to get the kill. Mid lane Faker's forced to fly away as the Spectral Maul comes through. G2 secured a kill. Cerulean Soul's starting to get a little bit scary. But again, I'm just looking on the map where Owner is. He is in his bottom side, so maybe a possible tower dive for T1 towards Hansama, try and punish that Draven. But that will be neither here nor there, because I don't think he's in danger, because he's playing quite safe. Looking at it, I'm actually intrigued to see if G2 played the same Grub style game that they did in game 1, where they heavily focused the Grubs in Herald. And that did end up leading to Soul for T1 as the Emperor Survives going to come through from Faker, but the Spectral Morph from Yike is in time. Grand Starfall comes through as Poppy pushes Viego away, but here comes Urgot getting the execute with the ulti, and now Ona trapped in the mid lane as G2 kill him off. This game, it's looking G2 favoured with how it is starting. But there's only one lane left untapped right now, and it's the bot lane, to be honest. Also surprising to see the Urgot's gone cool. And G2 starting up these grubs. That's going to go over. They're going to get one. Ona's pathing up here. But because Broken Blade was forced back under the tower, it meant that Zeus got to path down to the river. And if Yike stayed around, he probably would have died. Meanwhile, bot side, G2 engaging onto this Alistar. Cleanse comes through from Hansama, realizing he's in danger of being chipped away at. He stays alive, as also it was a cleanse out from Guma. So cleanse is burnt out of either team. Also an ignite down from Carrier. Mickey could be in trouble as Faker's showing up. Hans gets away from the flash headbutt from Carrier. That looked mistimed. Anyway, mid. They called the ambulance for Faker as he just gets deleted. It looked pretty good, like he was going to get out, but High Noon Urgot pulls him into his belly and gets eaten up, and down goes Ona alongside him, and it kills into the G2 mid laner, which is pretty good. The Aurelion Soul, infinite scaling technically, comparative to the Azir, who does also have quite good scaling, but it isn't the same. But G2 pretty good, pretty content with how this is going. I would be too, with the fact that they're sitting quite nicely with a 2k gold lead, and they're looking for another play as Faker forced to slide and glide to the safety of his tower. The Shifting Sands is it's actually called. I do know its name, even though I always call it the Slide and Glide. But hey, this is actually quite interesting. So Grubbies was split in this game, but in game 1 the trade was 3 grubs for first Drake. The weirdness is the grub trade split this time, and I think G2 are going to be the ones to start up and get the Drake. Yike's already on it right now. Wards are being dropped, so maybe we see Ona coming down. No, he's in top side map, so G2 will get this first Drake. And the surprising thing is it's another Chem Drake into Mountain. There is a chance of Cloud, but I like this pathing from Caps. Like, going up here means that there's no way for Ona to get in and steal away camps, which is something he does quite a bit when he knows the opposition are on the bottom side of the map. Now, surprisingly, Zeus wasn't playing respectful of Caps, who was just hovering around in the river in a position where he can join up. Now Ona's in the jungle, and he's jumped on here by Yike. Faker's going to show up and protect him, but it's weird. Like, surely you know that there's a player. As Carrier Hex flashes to the side, the TP is going to come in from behind as Faker's joining up with his bot lane. It's Hansama that's the target, and he is killed off. The Draven stacks are gone, and so is Mickey's health bar. Headbutt back to the tower. He's still on the merry little walk. Gonna dodge out on the arrow, and he's still alive somehow. Gonna get his way up into this river. Is he gonna give over another assist to someone? But to be fair, he's delaying his death. He may not even fall. Yike. He's still alive! Mickey's just on his merry little stroll. He's spotted now. Will he exit? He's still backing. Never mind. Gooma, got him. Oh. It looked like he was going to exit. He should have probably have exited. But it's bought G2 time to get these grubs. Owner's gonna make it an even trade. 3 for 3 in grubs. That's actually worthwhile. Maybe not as... Yike. Hiding. Waiting. Getting the steal. Thanks for the leash, kid. But he uses his smite. And so his camps could be forfeit to Owner, who isn't going to be able to catch him. That was a merry goose chase. That was a little goose chase there. A merry little one, shall we say. But G2 looking to fire back. Even more, Mickey's back on the map. Joined up with Hansama. Still the TP wards there in lane. Set up. That could be pretty powerful. 41. To get, once again, a play onto the spot lane that G2 have. And they can kind of seed pressure, knowing that there's TP on the Cassante, who can isolate Draven pretty well. So there is always that possibility for T1. And I'm just watching where the Draven is. Not pushed up to the tower just yet. Kind of feels like he's freezing the wave. But Urgot's there, so no, he can't really freeze it. I'm kind of surprised how slow this game's gotten all of a sudden. As Carrier's isolated in the tower. Gonna just headbutt Hands away, who is just going to get a few plates. The hook goes wide. Don't really think Mickey wanted it to hit, but if it did, probably would have been a kill to either side. Don't know which. Meanwhile, mid. The interesting thing is, Caps' build, he's gone Ryle's first. Instead of like Leandri's, so you don't get the constant tick damage. He's gone for the slows, which should allow for his team to go for plays onto the carries. So like if he gets Gooma with his E, more than likely that's going to result in the Grand Starfall coming down on his head. Or the Sky's Descent, not Grand Starfall. Anyway, TP going to come in as the Cassante looking to join up with the team. Faker unable to slide and glide onto this Aurelion Soul, but he does manage to pick up this Nautilus on the other side of things. Yike shuts down Faker, but the kills still at even either side. Caps is being caught out and pulled to his demise as a shutdown comes through for Owner. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of T1 as they get a massive kill onto Caps, who has been a bit of a difference maker for G2 in this series so far. On top of this, Drake for Herald trade. Pretty nice. I mean, the Drakes are now split evenly, but G2 gonna get a Herald, which obviously will look to crack open maybe the mid lane tier 1. Hans is still sticking around. Hasn't necessarily used his kit as Mickey gets on top of this Cassante. But if that hook had landed, he probably would have allowed for Broken Blade and for Yike to go in on top of it. There is a Whirling Death on the table for this Draven, as G2 pushing quite easily onto this tier 2 on the top side. Faker will secure the bot lane tier 1, but the mid lane tier 1 falls as well. The trade's in favour of T1, I think. Opening up mid lane is slightly more beneficial than top lane tier 2, I think. And also with the gold going into Gumayushi's versus a split gold pool. That's certainly pretty nice for T1. So, as we continue forward, we've got 3 minutes 40 until next Drake. Baron's in 3 minutes 20 at time of starting that sentence, but it's a weird one, to be honest, how this is going. I'm just looking at where we end up, because the gold graph has been sat in favour of G2 for a while, even though the fights, realistically speaking, have been slowly panning in T1's favour as Carrier's looking to hunt on Mickey. He throws out the hook, pulls Owner back, gets the flash out, as Faker's forced to use the sliding glide in the Emperor's Divide to get to safety, but he is caught out as the Draven secures a kill with the Whirling Death. That's about a 1k gold lead garnered off of that Draven cash out. Pretty nice for Hans Sammer there, as that's one thing he's been able to do in this series, is get the cash outs when he needs to. But I want to see how much gold he's actually got off that play, because it's only a 600 gold lead in the bot lane matchup as a whole. But I'm pretty sure the way that Guma's been hitting towers, he's certainly going to be pretty happy with how that's going for himself. But yeah, again, Hans is still a threat. This game a little bit better frontline with the Urgot, as well as not. So you can maybe play a bit more protected with Peel. But yeah, they're gonna hunt here, G2. They see Owner, gonna force him back away from this tower as Broken Blade's taken quite a hefty chunk of damage. Hans is down here, as the wave for G2 is going to crash into the tower. The Demolish Proc should secure its demise. G2 get another tier 1, but it's not going to be without an answer. Faker will secure the top lane tier 1 in response, but G2 continue to push. The tier 2 still a factor. They do have the extra Void Mites, giving them more tower damage, so they're going to be able to get a little bit more down to that tier 2 in the bot lane. Broken Blade uses his TP top. Some may say that's a waste because Faker was already backing. I think that, realistically speaking, you could have given up that wave. Not TP'd. Save your TP, because you've got a Drake in a minute, in 50 seconds. Baron's up in 30. Having TP for a reset, or obviously a little bit more beneficial. Also, I didn't point it out, but it's fleet footwork Urgot. So, not like grasp or damage heavy. It's a sustain. Actually, it is damage, but it's a sustain slash attack damage one. I'm not really a big fan of Urgots that take fleet. I'd much rather see a tankier ruin like Grasp, or maybe even Conqueror. Anyway, in go T1 as they're looking to get the kill. This massive Grand Starfall comes through, and Carrier is just dead. Broken Blade eats him up in the meat grinder as in goes Yike. He gets a massive headbutt pull, but he goes too deep as the mid laners get trades and kills. G2 looking to continue to press the attack, but without a jungler, this Drake take could be quite hard considering Owner is alive. Now looking at where Owner is, not going to go to contest. Instead, G2 secured their second Drake. And let's just take a look at this. Carrier's just being bullied and tagged, so he goes in. A massive guy's descent comes through, and it just pushes T1 away. They don't really want to go in. Then Yike gets a massive Q, but he's CC chained on the tower, can't escape. As Poppy puts up the steadfast presence. And yeah, G2 get 2 kills. But in the end, it was still 2 kills over to T1. I think the Drake take, though, was the big payoff that G2 got from that, though. 21 minutes on the clock. I'm also interested by Broken Blade. Level 16, pretty big. Obviously, level 13, I think, is where his cooldown on his caps start to be shrunk down considerably. Anyway, I need to pause real quick because I'm being shouted at for no reason. Okie dokie. Back we go. I had to go fetch something which was never the most beneficial of times or things to do. So, where were we? 22 minutes. Oh, excuse me. 22 minutes of Barons on the table. We just had a fairly even fight. G2 nowhere near soul, but neither a T1. Grubs was split, but G2 got the better split. Gold's fairly even, to say the least. However, Han's got a big cash out. And now T1 forcing the Baron. They want to fight. Carrier's hunting, gonna get a headbutt pull. That's an isolated member of G2 being forced out. Mickey's down. And T1 get the pick. Draven? G2 have no vision here. It's the fog of war that T1 have is pretty strong. I'm well aware that there was a member in that brush, but as it stands, that's a well-worked play by T1. Force G2 to run at you, and we were saying the re-engage options of T1 are good. So's the engage when it's on an isolated member. Mickey stepped too far forward on his own. That Carrier just is able to get a Hex Flash pull into headbutt, pushing the Nort into death range, and just punishes him. It's a good overall play by T1, And this is looking like G2 maybe go for a Baron start of their own. Blue Trinket are going to be dropped. So there's no vision in the pit for T1. G2 got to spot the fact that Zeus is bot side pushing. So they'll just send Broken Blade, who does have TP now. Don't tell me they're going to do this play again. The dirty run back. It's looking like it. They're clearing out all of G2's vision and onto the Baron go T1. They want his TP. They're going to use their TP, and so is Broken Blade. The Baron's just dead. G2 unable to get there in time. Oh, Hans' pathing was pretty poor. And he's just going to be burnt out. Yeah. Gonna be honest. The death ball that T1 have just caught Caps. Not Caps, Hans. And did well. That's caught Caps. A massive Sky's Descent. And he's just going to burn through Zeus' health bar. Caps is pretty strong. Hopefully we get a replay of that fight. Because I think it's important to highlight what T1 do to Hans in that play. And it's more specific about what Hans' pathing is as well. Because right now, he's stepping forward. He's stepping into a place, he's trying to keep his axes and stack them up. But once he steps here, this is the issue. He goes into a choke that's easy to land CC chain on, because there's a wall there. That punishes him. And he gets killed off, meaning G2's damage becomes very little outside of Caps, who's already ran away. You've then got Yaiku's forced retreat, and G2's front line, the Urgot and the Nort are dead already. So overall, T1 basically tunnel in on the carries, and when Hans is down, they get to kill off the front line. Because Urgot at this stage of the game doesn't have the most damage. Obviously, Black Cleaver, Stark's Gate is damage, but it isn't like, I don't know, IE Essence Reaver LDR, which Hans has. So the fact is, Carrier is basically tunneling onto Hans. So Zona. I'm pretty sure Zeus is as well. Like, Zeus was 100% doing that in game 1. He was tunneling. But in game 2, right now, he's probably going even harder onto him. Now with Baron, because, spoiler alert, G2's Baron defense there was poor. Like, they allowed T1 to walk in, clear out all of G2's vision, without G2 stepping up. And essentially, T1 just punishing G2's positioning pretty well in this series so far. And I think we have to go back to literally the first blood of this game. Viego pathing straight up the river, obviously in the bot side, into Poppy with a low health bar. Yeah, you're not getting out of that. And Owner punishes. Yike gets destroyed. G2 get dominated in this series so far. And the credit has to go to how T1 are positioning and playing it. And it's a combined effort from everyone. There's no real standout in the performance in this game. Game 1, you could definitely argue that it was the Camille that was outperforming everyone, but in this game, it feels like an even spread of work from T1, and the fact that they all can be the threats to G2. But right now, Zeus is cut out, has got Ghost, but he's being burnt and slowed by Caps. He drops the big E, and he's continuing to chase. As another Q comes through, Zeus is dead. But the loss... Never mind. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Caps is just waiting. He's ticking away at the health bar. Urgot could have honestly pulled him back, but doesn't even take it. The issue is, though, G2 are losing out on both lanes. Mid lane tier 2 fell. Top lane tier 2's fallen. G2 did already take tier 2 on the top side already. But, Faker's hunting for Broken Blade. Tower is going to fall soon. And now the W from this got a good E. Buffering the Azir damage. Star's Gate's procced. And Broken Blade could walk it out. It gets the Q tag onto Faker. But Carrier's in range. Headbutt comes through. Please don't tell me Broken Blade's going to outplay this. He doesn't. But Owner gets outplayed by Caps. Because G2 headed up top side. Because bear in mind, this is an open inhib tower. G2 trying to push for the base of T1. The response should come in time as Zeus respawns. But to be honest, this is good from G2. T1 make a play on bot side. Make a play on the other side of the map. Get the kill on Owner. Start to put pressure into the top wave. And honestly, it makes it a little bit better for them. You negate some of this Baron that T1 got. And to be honest, the gold off the Baron, it's only a slight gold lead, 2k off the back of it. G2 aren't out of it. Especially with the fact that Hans is on 3 items. Oh wait, that's 4 items to the Varus. Guma's ahead. Mid lane's the interesting one though. I'm actually surprised Faker is even with Caps. Or slightly head in gold actually. Considering the kills, it seemed like G2 just funneled them into Caps this game more than anything. But Faker's just been getting picks on his own. It's pretty surprising. Anyway, Baron's back up. And in a short period of time, already T1 are on it. Hook goes wide from Mickey. There's Broken Blade stepping forward. He's got his W active. Ease away to safety. And T1 back off the objective. Drake is up. So sole point to whomever gets it is the prize they want. Mickey goes forward, but a good buffer out from the Cassante to negate the hook, pulling him in. G2 just chipping away as Owner gets a bit of damage down onto this Viego. That's the issue with Viego. Quite squishy versus a tanky Poppy, and the engage comes through. Owner gets onto the backside, and down goes Hans. G2's continue to the fight as the Azir is down, but so is Mickey. Next to fall will be Yike and Broken Blade just being ran down. The attack speed from Gumayushi is so goddamn high, and Caps left alone, burning through the health bars, but he is isolated and has no teammates. TP gonna come in from Zeus just to stop Caps' escape, but to be honest, the base of G2 is falling. Gumayushi gonna get the game in pretty much a simple fashion. You lose hands, you lose your life, you lose the game. G2 just get deleted off the Rift. After a strong start, it doesn't work out for them. And T1 take game number 2. Actually, maybe not. I've called the end too quick. Never mind. The game's over. Zeus is just free hitting. A quadruple? It's still alive. I really shouldn't have ended the game. G2's still out on the map. Baron wasn't even taken. Look at Faker, he's TPing in behind. He needs one more auto to end the game, and he's gonna get it. Faker Faker wins the game for G2 for T1, and G2 head to the drawing board for the third game. And I think I'm going to end it here with GOL. It feels weird to end a game on GOL or a series, considering we've been doing every game or 3 games. I've just got to be in a rush today. Apologise, because I actually have good internet for once, sorting out the bitrate. Anyway, let's discuss Game 3. This is that comp that G2 went to before and won with. It's weird. They've got frontline this time. They've got Cabs on his carry, but the weird bit is T1 don't go for tanks themselves. I guess what owner has built is tanky with the Frozen Heart and the boots. The only one who does, by the way. Also, that's surprising. I mean, it makes sense because he's going into Braum, but Merc Treads are kind of the staple. What I'd say is the issue with G2's comp is they do lack AP damage. And it's certainly very impactful, as I'm already seeing something quite massive there. Damage distribution. Jag's not doing much compared to Rumble, even though it probably is quite close in terms of the actual damage score, because we don't actually have that value. I mean, we might do. Let's have a look. I just want to see if we have the actual damage values. Total damage to champions. Yeah, it's quite close. Yeah, it's quite close. Wait, no, it's this number. Never mind. It's not close at all. Huh. I mean, yeah. DPM's quite high. Wait, Hans is behind. It's so annoying that we don't get all the stats from MSI. That's the issue with having it in China. You don't get to see him. Regardless, that's today done with. Tomorrow we've got best of 5 between BLG and T1. I think it's time we give our predictions for that then, shall we? Who wins it? Who wins the lower bracket finals? Basically, it's not round 4. I think, yeah, we need to predict it now. Let's talk it. Because these 2 teams faced off before, didn't they? I felt. Yeah. 3-1 in favour of BLG. Obviously, we watched Gen G BLG yesterday. To be honest, it was a close series until Gen G just absolutely demolished. And I think Gen G have been the best team at this tournament so far, and are showing why they should be feared on the international stage instead of memed. But I'll be honest, I'm gonna say my prediction's a 3-1 to T1. I think T1 have kind of found their footing at this tournament so far. And please don't tell me we get Gen G at T1 actually. It's a final, that'd be funny. But essentially speaking, T1 found their footing, playing pretty well, and overall showing why they're the world champs. I think this series, it was blunders by G2 in terms of the draft, but as a whole, I think The mid matchup is the interesting one, Knight versus Faker. I do think the way that the first series went isn't really telltale of how it would go every single series, and I think this one will be a bit more explosive in favour of T1, where they can actually play a bit more of the unique, strong style picks that they have. So yeah, that's why I'm going for them over Gen G. And with it, I'm going to end it off. Thank you for joining me tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow, earlier time, hopefully. I might even do a straight after the broadcast one. I'll see you guys then. Peace out.